Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of this newsletter is going to be being the rebound lover. Well, I've got one email I'm going to go through with you, and this guy gives a really detailed account of what transpired between him and a woman that he recently met. And things started off really great. He did a fantastic job of hanging out and having fun and hooking up. And obviously what he found out right away was she literally, just I think a week or two before they met, broken up with a long-term boyfriend of his. So before you get into his email, I got a quote on this topic that I want to go through, because at some point in your life you're going to meet somebody and you're going to really connect with them, and you're going to find out that, oh, they just broke up with somebody else. And so it happens to everybody. And the best thing you can do is be prepared for those situations, so you don't do things to totally ruin your chances and cause them to just break it off with you altogether, or drive them back into the arms of the ex. And the quote says, if you get involved with someone romantically who is on the rebound, the most important thing you must do is to make sure you maintain their sense of freedom. In most cases, their feelings and emotions will be raw, and they will be hot for you one minute and then indecisive about you the next. They will have a stronger emotional bond with their ex because of the time they have spent together. If you try to force them to choose, they almost always will choose their ex over you. But if you have a take it or leave it kind of attitude and are simply grateful for your time together, you will give yourself the best possible chance that they eventually choose you. The only thing you can do is to be their best option, have fun, and let them go back to their ex if they want, but leave the door open for them to return if things don't work out with their ex. If it did not work the first time around with their ex, it most likely will not work the second time around. Yeah, at the end of the day, you get involved with somebody, you just split up with them, and they're still going to be talking. Either she's going to be reaching out to him, or he's going to be reaching out to her. At some point, that's going to happen. And if you try to interfere in that, or prevent them from talking to the ex, or say you can't talk to them altogether, or you try to force them to make a choice, they're going to choose the ex over you just because they simply have more time with that person. They had time to develop an emotional bond, and they're still going to miss that person. And so you really have to have a take it or leave it kind of attitude. Just like I say all the time, you got to love in such a way that the person you love feels free, and especially when you're dealing with people that are on the rebound, because otherwise you're going to just totally screw up a good thing, which is pretty much what it looks like this particular guy did. He says, hey Corey, I've been watching your videos for quite some time now. They've given me a better perspective on dating and women in general. Thank you for sharing your wisdom. I've watched your videos on the rebound situation, and I have one myself that I'd like to get your point of view on, because this involves legitimate feelings on her part as well as mine. Let me explain. Just today, I broke up with a girl that I've only been seeing for a week and a half. Dude, if you've been following my work for a while, you're really not together with this person. You're just hanging out, having fun, and hooking up. And your problem, right from the bat, it tells me that you're focused on locking her down and getting her all to yourself because you fear she may go back to your ex. So right away, your mindset is fucked. And because of your mindset and your fears and your beliefs, you're going to sabotage yourself. He says, I know to the rest of the logical world, that seems meaningless. However, up until our breakup, again, you mistakenly assumed that just because you were having this great chemistry that she's now your girlfriend and you're in a relationship with her. And if you've been following my work, what does this tell me? It tells you probably haven't read the book 10 to 15 times. You have to read it so well that you don't have to think about it anymore. But what's happening is you're trying to get this girl all to yourself, you're trying to lock her down. It's the worst thing you can do in this situation. He says, however, up until our breakup, we spent every night sleeping together, intimately too, I might add, since our very first meeting. So what happened was you adjusted enough of your bad behavior, and you did everything right. This woman felt free when you first started dating, so therefore she felt totally comfortable with hanging out, having fun, and hooking up with you, because you made her feel like she could come and go as she pleases. You know, you don't possess her. She's not your dog. You don't say sit, lay down, roll over, come sleep with me. It doesn't work like that. Women are not light switches. It takes time for them. You got to remember, she's transitioning out of an old relationship and transitioning all this great chemistry that she has with you. But let's look at, he describes what went really great. He says, we met online and we met in person, and I had no intentions or expectations of having sex with her the first night, let alone going back to her place. Perfect. That is the take it or leave it kind of attitude that I'm talking about. That's brilliant. That's what you need to do. Either way, because if you have an abundance of women in your life and you're able to get the kind of women that you want, if one doesn't work out, it doesn't bother you. There's always another one. And that's the perfect mindset to have. You won't have any kind of attachment one way or another to either outcome. He says it was supposed to be a simple dinner at her local diner and just get to know each other through conversation like we did on the phone the last couple of days prior. Needless to say, she invited me back to her place. Hang out, have fun, hook up. She liked your picture. You talked on the phone for a little bit. She liked what she heard. You liked what you heard. You made a date to get together. It's really simple. He says, so even though I accepted the invitation, I only expected to chill out and watch TV or a movie and maybe do a little cuddling. Great attitude. Perfect. He says things got hot and heavy, and then she eventually just led me to her bedroom. Beautiful. Good fucking job. He says, of course you know what happened after that. The next morning we parted ways because she'd go to work and I would do my thing, work, errands, etc. And then afterwards she'd get done. She would contact me and invite me back to her place again. Women will do most of the pursuing. If you have the take it or leave it kind of attitude, they will invite you into their secret worlds. He says the only time we wouldn't separate are days that she would have off, unless I was working. I'm a professional DJ that does mainly private events, so I only work 2 to 3 days a week, and sometimes just 1 day per week. Now the relationship, again, you're focused on a relationship, man. This is a time bomb. It's like you set this thing, this time bomb, and boom, it just goes off. This is part of your bad behavior that you hadn't overcome yet, probably because you didn't know the book well enough. He says, now the relationship wasn't strictly physical, even though there was a lot of sex involved, but it was also mental and emotional. You guys obviously had a great connection. That's beautiful. That's rare, and it's special when that happens. He says, mind you, like me, she was also looking for a serious relationship as well. More focused on the relationship talk. You're trying to lock her down, trying to get her all to yourself because you fear losing her. He says, we would talk a lot and do things like any normal couple would do, like go out or cook at home and even take a walk somewhere. Again, you're treating this girl like she's your girlfriend after a week. That's your problem. He says, I can tell her feelings toward me were sincere because not only would she tell me how happy I made her, but she would also make the initiative to reach out to me the majority of the times or tell me she misses me and so on. Here's where it gets interesting. She informed me in the beginning, meaning our first physical encounter together, aside from the fact that she's a recovering alcoholic of 9 months, but I think that's irrelevant, that she literally had just gotten out of a long-term relationship a week prior to us talking on the internet. He says, I knew what I was getting myself into, but I kept an open mind. Because of how her last relationship ended, she caught her boyfriend cheating on her, and 2, she was completely honest from the beginning, which is rare these days, and still expressed to me how she was feeling about me. You got to remember, when a woman expresses how she feels about you, it only applies in that moment. Especially so when there's an ex-boyfriend that she literally caught cheating on her a week prior to that. He says apparently after she broke up with her last boyfriend, she made a list of everything she was looking for and wanted her perfect guy. Obviously this list was way before she met me. Guess what? She told me that I was everything on that list. Well, of course, because you're fucking awesome, dude. He says she said part of it scared her because she didn't think that type of guy existed. Well, that's how the universe works. Where intention goes, energy flows. You get what you focus on in life. She focused on what she wanted, and boom, you magically appeared. He says it was like it was a too good to be true situation. So deep down you're telling me that it's probably not going to work out, or I'm going to probably fuck it up like all the others. Situation for her and for me as well because of the near perfect qualities I found in her. This is what chemistry is all about. This is the way the universe works. When you have an idea of what you want and you believe it and you feel it in your heart, there is a match out there and it will happen. That's why you got to have the take it or leave it kind of attitude, and when something like this happens, hey, let's see where it goes. He says, I'm not saying I'm the perfect guy. I do have my flaws, but I've apparently done something right to make her feel the way she does towards me and even sleep with me the first night. that tells me you're not really completely sure of how you were able to be successful. Again, this tells me you don't know the fundamentals in my book. I say it all the time. And every time I talk to, even in the phone sessions I'm going to do with guys and girls today, I'm going to talk to them, probably half of them, they're like, no, I kind of read through it. I kind of just breezed through it. And it's like, and you wonder why you're having so many problems. You must learn the fundamentals. And for those of you that haven't read the book yet, you can either download the digital Kindle version or you can order the paperback version. On my website, underneath the email sign-up box, there's an image of my book. If you click on that, it'll take you to Amazon. And below the image of the book, you can click on Kindle edition or you can click on the paperback edition. Order whichever one you want. He says, the truth is, a lot of my actions were certain tips and advice from your videos, LOL. I know I let my guard down, which I shouldn't have done because of the last 2 heartbreaks I've encountered within the last couple of years, but sometimes I just tend to follow my heart. There's nothing wrong with following your heart, but the problem is when you get yourself into a fearful state and you seek to possess or control that other person or try to keep them away from their ex or maybe other guys that the women happen to be dating, that's where you're going to blow it. Because in reality, what's really driving you to do that is a deep-seated fear that you don't deserve that person. And even though she's telling you that you're exactly what she wanted, you started acting like a jealous, possessive guy, which is what eventually caused you to blow it up. He says, now technically, we called it quits. By the end of our short relationship, she received a text from her ex telling her he misses her. That is always going to happen. You can't do anything about that. It's going to happen at some point in time. And how you handle it, you got to have a take it or leave it kind of attitude. He says this set her into an emotional state, and she was also starting her period too, which I understand skyrockets a woman's emotional meter past the boiling point. And she started to think about him and develop feelings of missing him as well. And this is where he starts to go off the rails. So basically, I asked her if her feelings for me were for real. Come on, man. Do you honestly think that's the appropriate thing to say? Is that something James Bond would say? Has this all been real? Come on. She says yes. Of course she's going to say yes to that. So in other words, you're doubting that a woman could really feel this way about you. So what's really going on here is you're making her deal with your weak issue. And the fact that you haven't learned the fundamentals in my book. She said yes. She finally realized and was convinced that she was rebounding. This was something I feared was going to happen. What you fear you attract, and what you look at disappears. This was something I feared was going to happen, but I kept an open mind. Then I asked her, do you want to get back with your ex? Come on, man. Seriously, dude. Why would you ask that? Think about it. She says, I don't know, I guess, but I want to go back where we were before he hurt me, but that could never happen because the damage had been done. Now I was honest and said that I don't want to lose her, but we can't go on like this. In other words, you need to make a decision. You need to choose him over me. Bad way to go, dude. You're just tossing a grenade right into a beautiful thing and blowing it up. Totally unnecessarily. Then I asked her if she really wanted to let me go, and she said no. Now, mind you, strong feelings develop quickly in this short period of time on both of our ends. Well, maybe mine a little bit more than hers. Ding, ding, we have a winner. Basically, when we saw each other for the last time, she kept holding on to me and even kissing me here and there. That's so sad, dude. You had such a great thing going, and you just fucked it up. He says, when we gave each other our last hug, she held on tight and didn't want to let go. I finally told her that we don't necessarily have to let each other go or lose each other completely, but I advised her to get her issues fixed. That's why I said technically, because my heart tells me there's a chance that we'll have the opportunity to be with each other again. I told her to see her ex and to find out if there are true feelings, and left it at that. If there are true and legitimate feelings left with her ex, then that's who she needs to be with, and she finds herself constantly thinking about me, and then she knows how to reach me. In other words, you basically are giving her an ultimatum without realizing that you're giving her an ultimatum. In other words, you're saying choose him or me. she's always going to choose the other guy. You had a week together. And you made the mistake of assuming that you were in a relationship with her. You started treating this hanging out, having fun, and hooking up like she was your girlfriend. I even did a video, never treat dates like your girlfriend. At the end of the day, the relationship must be the woman's idea. When she's ready to be exclusive, she's going to bring it up. He says, I said that I'll be around, but I can't promise how long. Before I walked out the door, she even kissed me goodbye. All you had to do was just keep hanging out. If she would have brought it up, she would have said, oh, he's missing you. I was like, well, you know, too bad for him. He's a liar and a cheater, and besides, you had an upgrade, obviously, in yours truly. And if she says, well, I don't know, I'm kind of confused, it's like, well, that's okay. You know what? If you want to talk to him, I mean, that's really none of my business. I don't have. If you want to discuss it, if you want to share things, I'm happy to listen. But I want to definitely keep seeing you and see where things go between us. But at the end of the day, you know that this guy's a liar and a cheater. And if he cheated on you once, he's going to cheat on you again. But you got to do what's right for you. But I love spending every moment with you. It's just magical when we're together. And I love this. And I love this chemistry we have. And I want to see where it goes. And that's why all you had to do was let her continue to come to you at her own pace. And that way, if you didn't hear from her for a couple of days, you don't come unglued and start calling her and blowing her phone up. You just wait to hear from her. And after 3 or 4 days go by, she'll probably reach out to you like, hey, babe, I want to see you. When are you free to get together? She says, well, I don't know. I'm kind of confused because I got this ex in the picture. It's like, I don't care about him. He can keep you busy when you're not with me. I want to see you. When are you free? It's like, let's not complicate things. You know, obviously, you only broke up a week ago. Of course you're going to be talking to the ex. But the bottom line is you broke up for a reason. You realize that you can't trust the guy. And if you can't trust him once, and I know you want to go back to where you were in the beginning, but you know, obviously he's violated your trust. And if he did it once, if you take him back, you're a sucker because he'll just do it to you again. You're enabling his behavior. You're enabling him to continue cheating. But I know it's tough to let somebody go. So let's just continue to have fun and let's just see where things go. You got to have a take it or leave it kind of attitude. He says, I know you've talked about walking away and not looking back, which is exactly what I did. Now, this happened today, and I'll do my best to not contact her, which I know is hard because of the way she made me feel. Exactly. You walk away, and if she reaches out, assume she wants to see you, and you make the next date. You hang out, you have fun, and you hook up, and you stop trying to lock her down, and you stop trying to force her to make a choice of him over you. Because every time you do that, you're going to lose, and that's exactly what happened here. You lost. He says, I'm moving on, and I'll keep doing my thing, but I'll admit there are days when I'll be thinking about her a lot. Of course you will. He says, in your professional opinion, do you think there's a strong chance she'll miss me even more and come back to me? Flip a coin. It really depends what happens with the ex, because you basically, at this point, pushed her right back into his arms. You literally said, go explore things with the ex-boyfriend and give me a call if it doesn't work out. I would not have done that, dude. You just totally blew it up unnecessarily. She's never really gone down the traditional dating pattern, and typically I haven't either until 2 years ago. That was something I had to learn, but that's another story. Again, we spent a lot of time every day, mostly evenings because of her day job, and then all day and night we both had off during that time period. To us, that was a lot. What's your perspective on it? Well, my perspective is you fucked up a really great thing. All because you didn't know the fundamentals, and you're trying to lock her down and get her all to yourself. You feared losing her, so what did you do? You literally pushed her and told her to go hang out with this other guy and that you can't go on like this. And at the end of the day, hang out, have fun, hook up. Those are the rules. I put it in my book, and there's a reason why I teach guys that simple formula, because that formula works. And when you focus on anything other than hanging out, having fun, and hooking up, you complicate things unnecessarily, just like you did in this perspective. You made her feel like she's losing her freedom and to choose. In other words, she wanted to explore her feelings with this ex. 99% of the time, it ended, right? I mean, if it ended once, it's going to continue to end the second time around. But what would have happened if you'd have done what I teach in my book? She would have continued seeing you, hanging out, having fun, and hooking up with you. She probably would have gone and hooked back up with the ex. And if you would have just continued to allow her to chase you, she would have reached out when she had doubtful feelings about the ex. And you would have just kept hanging out, having fun, and hooking up. And eventually, she would have realized that you're a much better dude, which you are, of course, than this other guy. And she would have chosen you over him, but you didn't give her that choice because you tried to force her hand. You tried to twist her arm. You tried to manipulate the situation and then boom, it totally blew up in your face. And it sucks, dude, but you know, this is how you learn. You learn through your fuck-ups, because this obviously is going to be a painful learning experience from you. But all you can do at this point is wait to hear from her. Next time you hear from her, hey babe, great to hear from you. I'd love to see you. When are you free to get together? Make a date. Hang out, have fun, hook up, and don't ever fucking bring up relationships or locking a woman down to a commitment again. It's a woman's department. And when you do that, you make yourself look like a feminine woman, and it blows up in your face. So if you'd like to get my help personally, the quickest way is to book a paid phone session. You can choose any of those options: phone coaching, Skype coaching, or email coaching, by going to my website, clicking the products tab at the top of your screen, and just follow the instructions. And I will talk to you soon.